Good evening and welcome to the Krame Center and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. So we are continuing our outdoor meditations for the month of August. And, nature is just so awe-inspiring. It's such a wonderful place to be, to recharge and rejuvenate. I'm going to read you a quote by John Muir, short and sweet. In every walk with nature, one receives far more than he seeks. And really, whether one is watching a thrilling thunderstorm or looking up at a mighty tree, the experience of nature really is one of awe. And you just can't help but marvel at the intricate design of a single leaf or the roar of a great waterfall. And time spent in nature is time spent realizing that you don't know it all and that you never will. So if you are outdoors, then just kind of gazing around. And if you're indoors, then perhaps moving to a window. And if that's not possible, then just closing your eyes and imagining a place in nature. So just taking a moment, looking around, and just noticing the leaves, the trees, the bushes, maybe seeing some squirrels or chipmunks, and maybe noticing the light, the way the light is shining through the trees, and in some places there are shadows, and other places there's this wonderful reflecting light. And then now, perhaps, if closing the eyes feels comfortable at this point, then perhaps closing your eyes or softening the gaze and just tuning into sound. What are we hearing? Maybe noticing pleasant sounds like the birds or crickets, or maybe there's some water running nearby. So whatever sounds you're hearing. Or maybe your experience in this moment is sounds of landscapers or neighbors chatting or cars running, children crying, dogs barking, but just trying to hold in your awareness all the sounds equally. And perhaps letting go of the need to label it as good or bad. Rather, just listening to them as sound. Sound that is coming in and out of your awareness. And now, if you would, just closing your eyes if they aren't already closed and finding a comfortable posture. Easeful, but one that is supportive of wakefulness. So closing your eyes and just sensing the air around you. Is it cool and crisp? Or perhaps it's warm and humid. Is it easy and light? Or perhaps it's thick and heavy. Maybe noticing sensations on the skin. Is it cool or warm? Is there a breeze that can be felt? Does the skin feel dry or moist? Maybe noticing sensations on the face as air gently touches the cheeks. Or maybe feeling a little bit of movement of the hair as a breeze passes by. So just sensing the air and the vastness beyond. Maybe also noticing smells, perhaps the hint of freshly cut grass lingering in the air, or perhaps pine needles on the ground, faint scent of pine needles on the ground. And then maybe even feeling a temperature change on your closed eyelids. But just sensing the outdoors and all that it brings. And now, as you're ready, tuning into the breath. And just allowing yourself to follow each breath, riding the wave of your own breath cycle. And just following each inhalation and exhalation all the way to the end. Maybe noticing how each breath just naturally turns into the next. So tuning into the breath and following along with the breath as a way of anchoring into this moment and anchoring firmly into the body and into the senses. Perhaps the senses become a little heightened and some of the noises of nature are heard just a little bit more clearly or sharply. Perhaps even a tiny breeze is felt more acutely. Perhaps savoring the deliciousness of being in nature, even if it's only in your mind's eye. And the deliciousness of the air. That in the summertime is almost palpable, often filled with heat. Taking a moment to perhaps allow the sound to come in to your awareness. Each one separately, whether it's the chirping of the birds or the crickets, or maybe it's even an airplane overhead. But all the while, staying close to the breath. And now, as you're ready, perhaps releasing that narrow focus of the breath and begin to broaden the awareness, fanning the attention outwards, letting go of that narrow focus, expanding it beyond the body, beyond the chair that you're sitting in, beyond the outdoor or indoor space that you are in, beyond the treescape, above the clouds, and above the stratosphere. And just sensing into this expansiveness, the vastness of the world as we know it. And in your mind's eye, gazing back at yourself, a tiny speck sitting on the earth below. Perhaps allowing yourself just to marvel at the infinite and the eternal. That which has been here long before us and will be here long after we're gone. So just feeling the awe of the vastness, the expansiveness. Perhaps tuning into any sensations that may arise. A spark of joy, maybe even a sense of calm. And also paying attention to the thoughts or the emotions that may accompany this expanded awareness. And then just holding in your awareness, perhaps with some curiosity, what can be known and felt in this doorway, a doorway to creativity, to connection, and a sense of belonging to something grander than ourselves. And just exploring this expanded awareness and connection to all that is. And now perhaps releasing that expansive awareness and beginning to narrow it back down slowly through the stratosphere, through the clouds, through the treetops and the birds that are chirping at the treetops, to the space that you are sitting in, to the chair that you're sitting in. And then just taking a moment to feel the support of the chair. Feel the support of your own body in the chair. Feeling the feet on the ground. Perhaps being very close to Mother Earth, or perhaps you are touching the earth with your feet wherever you're sitting. And then moving that awareness up to the sits bones, the hands in the lap. And really taking a moment just to anchor back into the body. And anchor back to the breath. That steady companion that follows us everywhere and can be such a dependable friend, a source of comfort, knowing we can always turn inwards and find our breath. And if the mind wanders, that's completely fine. And just gently guiding your awareness back to the breath. And in these last few minutes of our practice together, once again, savoring the delicious sounds of nature and perhaps even the smells or the sensations. So just having an open awareness to this experience, whether it is a breeze across the face, or different sounds coming from different places. In one corner, perhaps it's the crickets. In another, it's some birds chirping. So not straining and looking for the sound, but just allowing each sound to come into your field of awareness. Allowing yourself to savor these sounds of nature. And remembering that we can always go out into nature to recharge, to rejuvenate, to calm, to find wonder and awe and inspiration, and to ignite our creativity. And I'm going to end with a poem. It's called An Artist's Poem by Alexander. No last name. Give me the eyes to see, the ears to hear, the heart to feel, the creativity within me and without. And in every bit of nature, every speck of air, every part of humanity, and all of this vast universe, I am content to be a creative force and source, within and without. Let the energy flow from me and to me. So thank you everyone for your shared practice. And please join us. We'll have one more outdoor meditation next week before we start a brand new series in September. Getting back to the basics of mindfulness we will explore each of the 9 foundational attitudes of mindfulness. And please follow us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter to find out all of the new programs that we have coming up. There's so much more. We have an exciting fall coming. So thank you all very much again for your presence and your practice. So I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Bye.